The Audi A1 was destined to be a success in the UK. Its combination of stylish looks and great build quality made it a winner, and the icing on the cake was the Audi badge. But it was launched several years ago now, and Audi has treated its smallest car in the range to a small update. So there are new front bumpers with larger air intakes, a new grille and sleeker headlights. At the back there's a slightly different bumper and new rear lights, and on certain versions fully LED lights.
There's not much change inside though. Standard SE cars like this one get a DAB radio with aux in, aircon and a 6.5-inch colour infotainment screen. If you want fancier items, you're going to have to go for Sport and S-Line models, which get Bluetooth, a leather multifunction steering wheel and part leather seats. Now, because the A1 is designed to appeal to young, fashionable types, there's a few personalisation options, such as the ability to change the colour of the air vent plastics or the plastics on the door. There's some option packs available. I mean, you can specify a Bose stereo system, mood lighting, and a hard drive for your music. And if you didn't choose sat-nav in the first place, you can retrofit it. You can also choose from a wide colour palette and change the colour of the roof.
But Audi hasn't been very adventurous in here, and the pop-up infotainment screen looks dated. Having said that, it still feels beautifully made and is of a similar quality to that of Audi's larger models.
It's really easy to get comfortable in the A1 thanks to a standard fit adjustable steering column that adjusts for reach and rake, a height adjustable driver's seat, and there's good visibility, especially out the back if you go for the 5-door Sportback model.
There's a good sized glove box, a place to store phones and wallets in the centre console, and the door bins can fit a 2-litre bottle of water, so they easily pass the Carbuyer big bottle test.
As you've probably noticed by now, this is the Sportback model, so there's 5 doors. That doesn't mean to say it's very spacious. I mean, if I sit in my upright position and that seat is set in my driving position, so I'm about 5'11", you'll notice I haven't got a huge amount of knee room and my head is hitting the top of the ceiling. It's also a little bit uncomfortable back here because of the angle of the seat. You'll probably notice it's a bit of a cute angle. You can just about fit 3 people in here, but it's awfully cramped. I mean, look, my head is jammed against the ceiling. You really wouldn't want to spend too long back here.
The boot in the 5-door Sportback is the same as the 3 doors, so there's space for a large suitcase, but not much else. There's a height adjustable boot floor for a bit of extra space, and the seats fold 60/40, but don't lie completely flat. As a guide, the Mini 5 doors boot is slightly larger. Under the bonnet there's a 123 brake horsepower 1.4 turbo, and there's also another 1.4 turbo, but this one has 148 brake horsepower and it can shut down 2 of the engine's 4 cylinders to save fuel. There's only one diesel, a 1.6, that can return up to 80 mpg.
We've got a brand new engine in this A1. It's a 1-litre turbocharged 3-cylinder petrol engine. Yes, you did hear me right, I said 3 cylinders. 3 cylinders in an Audi sounds laughable, doesn't it? But it's an absolute gem with 94 brake horsepower. It's nice and zippy. It replaces the 1.2 4-cylinder petrol engine in the old A1, and it's just an absolute delight. It's really enthusiastic, and even though it's 3 cylinders, the characteristic 3-cylinder hum doesn't really penetrate the cabin too much. And the gearbox is nice and light and precise. The only real problem with this engine is the fact that Audi claims you should be getting 67.3 mpg on the combined cycle. Now, if I check my trip computer, I've been getting just under 38.5. Now, I haven't been driving this car particularly economically today, but I doubt you'd get anything more than 45 mpg even on a good run.
Add in light and direct steering and good body control and the A1 rivals the Mini for driving fun. But there are some negatives.
The first is that body control. You see, to make sure the A1 doesn't roll about in corners, Audi fits sport suspension to sport models. It gets even worse on S-Line models because they get a stiffer setup.
Our recommendation would be to deselect Sport and S-Line suspension options and go for the standard setup like our SE spec car, because it's really very comfortable.
And while I'm moaning, the A1 is starting to feel just a little bit dated, and you get that sense in here. Now, whilst the cabin design is nice and easy to use, the pop-up screen, for instance, is just a bit old hat. The buttons to control that screen mounted on the dashboard is a little bit old-fashioned as well, and the screen in the centre of the dials is not particularly modern.
To get most of the desirable kit, you're going to have to be prepared to spend a lot. This car, plus options, costs over £20,000. Bearing in mind this car is based on the VW Polo means you are paying an awful lot for that Audi badge.
The Audi A1 has always been one of the most stylish and expensive small cars you can buy, and this update will just make it a little bit cheaper to run. But if you're not in the market for something that is a little bit dated and has a very expensive badge on its nose, then you need to check out this car's sister car, the Volkswagen Polo, by clicking the video on the left. If you want something that is just as stylish but is more modern, then check out the Mini by clicking the video on the right. Click at the top for our latest video and on our logo to subscribe.